Oh, baby, I'm excited about this one. It's Pop Culture Thursday. We're going to do a total pop culture flyover. We're going to talk about a little auto, but a lot of pop culture, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I am.
I don't think
who I
we've
be.
ever
They stop
done
and
it.
stare when they see me.
What'd you say?
It's a whole new thing for us.
It is. I don't know why, but this morning it was like, if you don't know, like this show is developed every morning. I mean, you probably, if you listen long enough, know because the stuff is real time. But this morning it was just like, we're gonna like, we feel like we need to catch up on pop culture and catch everybody in this industry up on pop culture, because we know that this is what's in the consumer's mind when they're shopping for a car, when they're walking in your showroom. So it is relevant. So if you think it's not relevant, we humbly suggest that you're incorrect.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
humbly suggesting. A couple announcements today. We've been talking about it all week, but first I want to just say congratulations to the ASOTU community, because we together have reached over 1 million impressions on social media so far this year. So far, 1 million impressions. And might I add, we are ramping up. If you look at the curve, like we might actually hit like 2 million by the end of the year. We might, but that's our first million. So the first million is the hardest. That's what they always say. We have a lot of great content coming out for you right now. We haven't talked about this, but ASOTUCon Sessions. ASOTUCon Sessions. Search it on your favorite podcast platform. We're also streaming them online. Video versions are available. These are the 10 to 15 minute conversations we had live at ASOTUCon in a little podcast booth aside. Effective, our friends there helped us put this whole thing together. So actually it's ASOTUCon Sessions by Effective, because they help make the whole thing happen. We have a few released. We're going to be releasing, I think it is 3 a week.
Yeah, 3 a
Is that what
week
it is?
through like early November. Got a lot.
Yeah, we got some stuff. The Jim McKelvey one just dropped, where you and I sat down with Jim, a little candid conversation. They're so much fun. I can't wait to listen to them, because I only hosted a few of them. Kyle, you hosted a few. Michael Cirillo hosted some. Glenn Lundy hosted some. Alana Shabte hosted some. So you're going to get a real variety show. We also have Auto Collabs episodes dropping as well on the podcast front. Kyle and I are going to NAMAD next week. So if you're going to NAMAD, we can't wait to give you some daps in person. And also we're going to be at the Creative Track at Modern Retail Conference. And you can join us for the Creative Track, because we're 2 of the 5 instructors. You can go to asotu.com/MRC. That does it for the housekeeping. What are we talking about today? It's Pop Culture Thursday.
Speaking of big announcements,
let's go.
Segue
time. Play all the music, Paul. Play all the music.
I'm excited. I'm excited about Pop Culture Thursday. I'm just hitting all the buttons on the Roadcaster today.
There you go. Well, a much talked about event in the world of automotive happened a little bit earlier today, before most of us woke up. Some of us were awake when it happened, but over in Europe, the Porsche IPO has happened and topped initial expectations. The initially proposed range was like somewhere in the $75 to $80 per share, and it settled in right at about $79.93 per share. The list
There's a rollback.
The list price brought in over $9.1 billion, making it Europe's largest IPO in a decade for a spin-off automaker. It's wild because this
being the top one. Come on.
Yeah, just the initial valuation puts the valuation close to the total market cap of VW Group, which it was spun off of, which owns VW, Audi, and a few other smaller brands. So the goal is to take these funds, the 9.1 billion, and move them into an electrification plan for Porsche, and move all of the loyalty that they have over into that new market, which I think a lot of manufacturers are starting to struggle with. And I think this type of move for that group is a really smart move, because it like segments and says, we're going after it. Come on with us. You know,
well, here's why this applies to Pop Culture Thursday. The reason is the valuation was so high because the retail appetite was so high because of the community that has been built around the Porsche brand and vehicles for so long. This isn't just because it's an amazing car or everybody wants to get into the automotive industry. This is because retail appetite, retail investors, they want to own a piece of the brand. They want to own a piece of the legacy. Sure, there's a great business model behind it too, but this is I think this is one of the few instances where we see the weighing machine as far as like the business practices, the actual product, the manufacturing that's in place, and the voting machine, which is just consumer appetite to like be a part of something has come together. And I think it's a really solid IPO. I personally, not investment advice, but I think it's going to stand strong.
Yeah. And also, this is the other pop culture thing. When you lean into pop culture, you can lean into the voting machine a lot more. Take a look at Tesla. Boom.
Dude, truth. VW Group
Speaking
CEO
of a
Oliver,
culture.
Oh my gosh, he's just going on.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
One of the most iconic cultures and communities in like the world is the Harley Davidson community, and they have recently also spun off an electric division. Their electric motorcycle division has been spun off in a SPAC deal, creating the first publicly traded electric motorcycle company in the U.S. Not quite as much cash, right?
A little bit less, but still,
A little bit less, but
$1.77
$1.77 billion in cash. And Harley Davidson still retained 74% ownership in the brand, so they only sold off about 26% of it. And so the if you've been following the story, Livewire is the brand that they've put the electric motorcycle division under, and their starting prices of their motorcycles are still under 20 grand. So
that
kind of an interesting community move.
Well, if you're a motorcyclist, you understand that $17,000 is still an expensive motorcycle.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's still an expensive bike. When we were talking with Rick Reichert, so Reichert, they have a Harley dealership, and Rick has been, one of the first to like ride the bikes, and he's telling us about like the experience of the throttle sound it makes and the seat vibration. Like, it sounds like a pretty visceral experience. So we'll see what happens with Livewire, but I even was checking out the site this morning, and we linked it up in the show notes. Kind of like the energy around it is really reaching after this new demographic. You see those e-bikes that are kind of like getting closer to motorcycles, like those Super 73 e-bikes. And now you see Livewire kind of courting that demographic as far as like transportation, culture, and because the motorcycling, industry is getting a little older, like the data will show you that. So I think the EV bikes is going to bring more motorcycling into pop culture. And I've been a Honda guy. And I have 2 Honda motorcycles, model really old one like me, 1979, and a newer one that runs all the time. And I did actually go through the little trade tool on the side. I'm like, how much is that worth? Because this e-bike looks pretty cool. You can get like 100 and I don't know, it's like 175 miles of range, which is really good on a motorcycle, and it takes about 75 minutes to charge it. So it's not too bad.
I have a really I'm guessing that Harley Davidson is going to do a really good job at curating like a whole new community. They do such a. You look at like a Harley Davidson shop. I mean, the Harley Davidson shop, the dealership that I used to work for near us, every Saturday during the spring, summer, and early fall had a concert outside. Right?
Yeah,
they were grilling.
Ours does too. There's a stage.
So they just know how to build brand and build community. It's not just a retail.
There's that word again, Kyle.
Boom, there it comes.
There's that word again. Speaking of communities,
find that.
Sorry, we made a decision.
We're rolling.
We made a decision today with this many stories. We have to keep it right. Speaking of community, Tesla's annual AI Day is tomorrow, where the likely star will be the company's Optimus humanoid robot. Ooh. Tesla revealed the project last year.
Picture of that thing. That's wild.
Oh, that is slick. And last year they had the one. It was just somebody in a suit, but it danced. It was really funny. Right. Tesla revealed the project last year is promising to show off an actual working prototype this year. That's intended to replace humans in dangerous or repetitive or boring tasks. They can lift, it's a 125-pound robot, battery powered, and it's got 40 actuators, 12 of which are just in the hand. Like they have a picture of the robot like doing the little heart. And, so it can lift up to 150 pounds, the robot. And, people are like, oh, that's are legit. Humanoids scary? Are they And, in kind of typical fashion, Tesla's like, well, if you can run more than 5 miles an hour, you'll be safe. and basically they said like a 5-year-old could push it over. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about all that. That's 125
I'm sure because
rope.
It doesn't have the ability to like transfer weight. No. Like you think about that, like put a 125-pound stick straight up in the air and tell it can't transfer weight.
But it'll be able to balance.
Push it over. No, it won't. No. There's no way. How can you create the intelligence to balance itself?
Oh man, it's easy. You got to go search Boston Dynamics and look at their robotics. And you
Boston
literally will
Dynamics,
see,
they don't mess around.
you see people like full head linebacker charging into these things, and they like stabilize and they look at you and the eyes turn red. You know, that all that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
well,
this one doesn't look like that football player.
No,
though.
it doesn't even have a face. Yeah. There's no face. Tesla's
great.
also going to be talking about their updates to its full self-driving capabilities. The beta has been out. A lot of people have testing it. You've been seeing things on social media. Some people saying good things. Some people saying, hey, it's not quite working right. So it'll be interesting to see how all these things kind of come together in this like kind of Tesla ecosystem. But if you're interested, you can watch the whole thing live streamed from their YouTube page as usual.
Paul, speaking of new ecosystems.
Okay.
Segue.
I was waiting to see what you had there.
Yeah, I had it.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Retail Wire has recently reported that Walmart, the one that you expected, has moved into the metaverse. The retail giant has launched 2 immersive experiences on what's called the Roblox gaming platform. If you have kids, you know what we're talking about. Walmart Land and Walmart's Universe of Play are the retailer's first attempts to connect visitors with virtual merch. Okay, they're calling it Virch, which sounds very Walmartish to me. That have real life matches on Walmart.com and in the chain store. So they're going, hey, look, the Virch is over here, but also we've matched that in a physical presence. We just saw the video of it. Like, it's a really cool experience.
I'm so impressed.
It feels very fun, very energetic. It doesn't, honestly, like when I think of Walmart, I think kind of like walking into a very stale, very sterile environment of like shelves, and you get things and they go check out and then you get out. There's no there
is an experience. But it's not typically one I want to repeat.
It's normally because of the people, not the products, right?
That is.
They got like that people at Walmart thing. Hey, we're gonna there's a new YouTube channel that pops up. People of the Walmart metaverse.
People of Walmart. Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing. Like, so the CMO William White said, we know our customers are spending loads of time there, so we're focusing on creative, new, and innovative experience to excite them. Something we're already trying to do in communities where they live, and now the virtual worlds where they play. So here's the cool thing. No real money will be changing hands, but users can earn coins that get them like kind of representations of actual like toys and like clothing items. They can try stuff on. There's a dance challenge. They can engage in a Stranger Things trivia with one of the actual, it's the kid who plays Dustin, I think, in Stranger Things. I don't remember his name. And this is my favorite part. This is brilliant. There's an overhead blimp that randomly will show up and drop toys that you can run around and collect.
It's like a party all the time.
I couldn't be more impressed with Walmart's swing on this, because my kids have played Roblox for years. Like Miles, who now is taller than me and one of our editors here at ASOTU, he played Roblox in the very, very beginning when it was like had just come out. And so my kids are always on it and they're always doing things. Walmart's found a way to build community and brand affinity through a fun game in an environment where the young folks are already enjoying themselves. I'm so excited to see Walmart coming out with a swing, because I would have thought like this would be something that Amazon would have done first. But
their
Amazon's
demographic is perfect for it, because like you think about like early, like college age, early 20s, people that need like bargain items, like transferring that mentality, and even so many people that like grew up on Roblox in that Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen A arena, right? Like they know what that experience moves people. They know that they can transfer the experience in the metaverse to a physical retail location pretty quickly if there's brand recognition. And so
wait till they figure out the next step. Wait till they figure out the next step between earning things in the game and actually transferring that into tangible real items at the store. Like Walmart, I don't know, man. They've been impressing me lately. Like when an old dog finds some new tricks, I get really excited. I get really excited. Speaking of, there's no real easy way to put this. So I'm just going to say stop. Stop. We're just going to do the stop. Right? Whenever we say segue time, NFT trading. We've talked about NFTs a long time. on the show, and we've actually now seen the full rise and maybe collapse. Well, it's definitely a collapse of the market. NFT trading volume is way down year over year. Bloomberg first reported on data hosted by Dune Analytics that showed trading volume has gone from 17 billion. We're using the billion word a lot today. Golly. 17 billion to just 466 million between January and September of this year. That's a 97% drop in just 9 months. And the data was all collected from, the major trading platforms like OpenSea, NFTX, Larva Labs, etc. And so this actually puts trading below of what it was June last year before the spike actually happened.
Well, I just remember like December, January, February, even on this show talking last year, like this isn't going away. Everyone's moving there. The metaverse is coming. Like even just to see, Facebook change their name to Meta. And, I know that NFTs aren't metaverse, but it's all Web3 and building.
It's a transactional piece of the metaverse for sure.
It's all of that. And so, it's just honestly shocking to see the dynamic change in what it has done. Now, here's what's interesting is that NFTs such as the Bored Ape Yacht Club are still retaining their value, even though
like the mega names
trading, right? So any of those like mega names, the big ones that kind of like had staying power before, during, and after so far, they still hold their value. So it's like people are holding them, or when they do get traded, they still trade at that higher value. So I think there's still a case for like, hey, if you create a bold enough community that is leaned in based on this item and access, then you still have the opportunity to retain value, even though trading volume goes down. Now that doesn't help the originator of the NFT. But I think it still has a proof case for like the staying value, like the staying power of
it's
NFT.
The same. It literally is. If there's a common thread of Pop Culture Thursday, it is the principle and concept of community, right? The NFTs that built legitimate community, not just like the artist that said, hey, I'm going to turn my art into an NFT and sell it for a lot of money. Right. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, he would be like, hey, they're in really dangerous territory if they're not treating that NFT with some community benefits or some functional utility over time, because he said, you're going to sell this thing for a lot of money and people are going to buy it. And then when the market does crash, and it will, he predicted it. He said, your fans are going to be left holding the bag. What do you think that's going to do for their perception of you? Right. And that's an ouch. And so that's actually happening now in real time. Companies like, like Starbucks and people who are trying to ride the craze and say, hey, get the Starbucks NFT. They're actually rebranding those a little bit now as digital collectibles.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know why someone didn't just call it that from the beginning.
That's basically what they are.
Now that we're looking to dodge and disassociate, we come up with a really great word.
Yes.
But we were like tripping over ourselves to just explain an NFT earlier. It's a digital collectible. So, we'll certainly see, I think, a rise and a fall. And I think you'll see the strong projects that build community, staying true through this, maintaining their thing and leaning in and investing into the people, the mindsets, and the brands that are around these big ones. And I think those are going to survive and we'll see another upswing. But I mean, this is a great purge, and it's a little tricky. Speaking of things that are tricky.
I see you.
This is a funny
that in there at the end.
This is a fun one. This is a fun one. Trick Shot Comedy Quintet, Dude Perfect, revealed their plans yesterday for a $100 million headquarters complex, entertainment complex. These gents, they were college roommates. They released their first Trick Shot video on a dare. Now they have over 58 million subscribers and 15 billion views. Their entertainment is very family oriented. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was like, why do I like this? Do I like it because it's Trick Shots? Because they're just good guys? Do I like it because my whole family can watch it together?
The answer is yes.
I'm an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
I'm a creator. There's a lot of reasons to like
all of the above, right? Yeah.
It really is.
Look, yeah. I mean,
first the headquarters video back up. Kyle, give them the specs on the headquarters.
If you haven't watched it, if you're listening only, go search this because it's a 3-story headquarters building. It has a 330-foot just Trick Shot tower. That's it. They've got a Dude Perfect museum, mini golf, a merch store, restaurants, and 2 whole acres of outdoor space, which if I had to guess, they're going to utilize quite creatively.
Be amazing.
And yeah, it's going to be people are going to be able to interact with the space too. So, they have said like, hey, they're going to try their hand at an impossible shot. They're going to be able to see the whole city, right? There's this sweeping structure. It's like they call it a focal beacon of the whole dude perfect. So like we talk about putting up a beacon, it's like, hey, here's the center of this kind of community, and it looks, feels, and interacts like all of the rest of our content. It's pure brand play, pure community play.
Earlier in the year, we had an event in Dallas, and I took my family down, and we went to the Magnolia Silos, right?
Yeah,
and if you know about that, that was kind of the culmination of our love of the Magnolia Network and Chip and Joanna, and kind of how our family likes. And when we went there, it was like you were with all the other people that also thought that these things are awesome, that home
like
is
you could
awesome.
give a nod to anyone and kind of know like, yeah, we're in the same zone.
Yeah, like we're having the same experience. And what it really codified the whole brand experience into you realize, hey, here's the rest of the community. They do exist. They're one place. I think this is going to do the same exact thing for the Dude Perfect ecosystem. It's fun to see him getting into real estate because it's a great way to build wealth over time because they're just good guys. And look, I think it just ties back to what we've been talking about in every single story today. It wasn't intentional, but it's just the nature of culture. Culture is based on community. So I think as we in the retail automotive industry, whether that is as a dealer or an industry partner, like remembering that people are hardwired to seek community, to find the others that think the same way you do, that believe the same things that you believe, and then move closer together and do something together. So there you go. That's our very first Pop Culture Thursday.
And Paul used the word codify.
Yes, I did use the word codify. So go out there, think about community, and go build some community.